in Boston, I used to write for the Boston Globe, and I told the Boston Globe, I said, you need people like me. This was in 1991, right before Houghton Mifflin. And they're like, why? Why 21-year-old person? And I said, well, I'm from Puerto Rico, and I'm a Spanish speaker and an English speaker. I'm bilingual. I can edit. I can write. I really love baseball. And the Red Sox are going to get all these bilingual, these Dominican and Puerto Rican players eventually, and you're going to need people like me to talk to them. And this was in 1991 when there was no, Latino players on the Red Sox. And they're like, you're crazy. We're not going to give you a job. And then all of a sudden the doors were shut because of representation and because of sort of institutionalized racism. I can say that now at 53 years old. At 21 years old, if I said that, I was seen as a hothead, as, a rabble-rouser, as a radical. So this is why I'm very thankful that Mr. Chapman believed in my voice. And I did publishing. I believed that the world was going to become more bilingual and more Spanish-speaking in this country. And we went through some very tough times when, especially in California in the late 90s, where a lot of people in California said that English language speakers, that, this country wasn't going to become bilingual. And we knew the future of this country. And for me, my career has always been one about fighting the inevitable. The inevitable was happening. I was always fighting the doubters. So a lot of what I learned when I got to work with Mr. Chapman and others at Houghton was to always believe in your voice. But, I thought I had found it. I told, by the time I was in my mid-30s, I was happily married. I live right outside of Boston on the South Shore. And I thought I had it all, right? I did everything right. I did everything right. And I'm sure all you are doing everything right now. You're in a great space. You have an incredible future. You've lived through this pandemic that I think is going to make you stronger as a generation. I can say that because I have my two kids are, one of them is in college and one just graduated, and I saw that. I saw my high school senior go through the last couple of years, and it's tough. And the question for you all is, what do you do in response to that? I was lucky and I was fortunate to have people like Mr. Chapman and others who helped create the character for me to push through it, who dealt with compassion and humility and belief and love. And I know that sounds kind of hokey now, because I used to be in there when I was your age, and I'd be like, someone was speaking and be like, you're crazy. What are you talking about? Stop with the Buddhism. My dad, who's this wild Puerto Rican man. I'm glad you quoted, the Buddhist quote, because my dad kept saying that to me forever, and I'd be like, oh, Poppy, what are you doing to me? What are you doing? And it took the challenges and the losses to realize that being present every day is a gift. And by pushing through that, I was able to discover where my passion was when I was sort of that teenage kid who wanted to be the sports writer. I used my journalism in digital media, and I kind of went to a journalism school without paying for a journalism school. My journalism school was Facebook. And I saw the issues of representation greatly in front of my face in the Latino community. And I saw that what digital media was going to do was democratize voices. And now when I look in the last 10 years of this journey, that if I had given up at 35, if I had given up, if I had said, you know what, life is unfair, my entire path has been broken, I can't push forward, I wouldn't be talking about the fact that we won a Pulitzer 3 months ago. So I'll leave you with this. enjoy the journey. Some of it is amazing.